preaching is going to be about the old life and the new life. And I'm going to be reading out of Colossians chapter 3, if anyone wants to turn there. First 10 verses. I'm going to start with the first 4 verses here. And it says, "If ye then be risen with Christ, seek those things which are above, where Christ sitteth on the right hand of God. Set your affections on things above, not on things on the earth. For ye are dead, and your life is hid with Christ in God. When Christ, who is our life, shall appear, then shall ye also appear with him in glory." Now these opening 4 verses, they talk about how we are to consider ourselves to be dead in sin. Since we are now children of God, earthly objects and temptations mean absolutely nothing, and we are to anticipate heaven. As another example for anticipating heaven is Lazarus and the rich man, because the rich man had absolutely everything he could dream of, but Lazarus had nothing. But Lazarus went to heaven, and the rich man went to hell. When the rapture comes, all our earthly possessions are coming with you. We're not going to pack our bags and bring a U-Haul. We're just going with ourselves. We need to reckon ourselves and be anxious for what God has for us. I'm going to keep reading the next 3 verses. Starting with number 5, it says, "Mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth, fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry. For which things sake the wrath of God cometh on the children of disobedience, in the which ye also walked sometime when ye lived in them." Now my point here is about avoiding tempting sins. It lists some sins that can be categorized as tempting. It lists fornication, uncleanness, which is things like adultery, lust. It says covetousness, which is wanting something that's not in your possession, and that's jealousy. Now, I'm sure all of you have been jealous at one point or another, that's for sure. These are all tempting sins. Temptation is hard to overcome, but you have to work with it. If you start slow and work hard, you can avoid Satan's traps and steer clear of nasty habits. Alright, the next 2 verses. It says, in verse number 8, "But now ye also put off all these, anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication out of your mouth." And it says, "Lie not one to another, seeing that ye have put off the old man with his deeds." Now this is about quitting sinful habits. Here lists some more sins, but these sins are more on the bad habit side of life. All these sins revolve around aggression. It lists anger and wrath and blasphemy and even filthy communication out of the mouth. Whether it's cussing someone out or telling a dirty joke, it's all sin. We need to break these habits. It labels very specifically, though, lying. Now, many of you have lied. How many of you lied at one point? That's what I thought. Lying may seem like the easy way, but sometimes it's not. You can't just lie your way out of everything. This is one of the changes in the transition from the old life to the new life. You're not just a lost sinner anymore. You're now a child of God. You have to act like it. Keeping distance from temptations and letting go of sinful habits is a way to express this and become a new, true child of God. And my last verse here, number 10, says, "And have put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge," and listen to this, "after the image of him that created him." Now I think this last verse summarizes my whole idea of the old life and the new life. If we want to be godly, we have to act godly. And it says in the verse, "After the image of him that created him." We are to be like Christ. We were created in God's image, and I think we need to start acting like it.